You're listening to the Everyday Astrology Podcast. I'm Hilary Scott, your astrologer, and this is the forecast for the week of May 8th, 2023. Well, we have a nice shift of energy with Venus moving into Cancer. That's something new. It's from May 7th until June 5th. So you might feel like a big shift instead of like being busy and going out and kind of that Gemini energy, like a butterfly from this place to that place, like lots of chit chat, kind of superficial focus of things. We've moved into Cancer, and Venus is very comfortable in Cancer. It has a chance to like settle down and get cozy, and you might feel like you want to fix up your home. Mars is in Cancer too, so there's this energy of like you can be like combat in the home where you're feeling aggressive and irritated, or you can flip it, because there's always like flip that switch to the positive side of the negative emotion, and you can experience like a lot of energy to put into your home rather than it being kind of combative energy. With Venus there too, so you might really beautify your surroundings, maybe or decorating or painting or gardening or something that is like makes your space feel more beautiful. And it is a really like maybe you're putting up a fence or the list is endless. Painting a wall. I painted a wall last night, like as if it's that easy. I wish it was that easy. But I had this wall in my living room, and we moved in, and the whole house had been recently painted gray. I called it like 50 shades of gray. It was so deeply irritating to me because I'm not a big fan of gray. I live in a climate that has a lot of grayness, so I don't want it in my environment. But I really hate painting. I don't have the aptitude for it because there's so many little piddly details that you've got to worry about when you're painting. Like, I would just want to put the green on the wall, but no, I have to tape off the edges and wash the wall, and there's all this preparation. So anyway, I finally, when Venus went into Cancer, was like, I got to do this. I'm going to do it now. So that Mars fired up energy helped me get past the dislike I have for painting. And now I have my wall painted, which I'm appreciative of. So hopefully that trend keeps on rolling, and the energy I need to paint the rest of my house will also be there. And so that's the kind of thing you can expect, like a lot of energy to fix things up. Or you might be feeling irritated with the situations around you. But Venus comes in on May 7th, and it softens things and brings beautiful surroundings that you appreciate, and you enjoy, like drinking tea and reminiscing with your friends, and the sort of things that are very nurturing and family oriented will be well suited for right now. So do that. Connect with your family, connect with your loved ones. Let your family and your loved ones know how much you care about them and how much you appreciate them. And that is just such a good energy to send out, because it'll come back to you right now. There'll be like where you just feel lucky that you got a dog to cuddle, or someone to hug, or someone that has your back. Anybody that feels like family is going to be very blessed with this energy from you and for you. So that goes until June 5th, so enjoy that. We also have this week, we start out the week on the 8th with the moon going into Capricorn, which kind of helps us like get the business done. Like, what do you need to get done? What do you need? Do you have bills that you need to pay? Do you have plans that you need to make? It's a very good time of the month to make your plans, to get sorted on what you need to create, what you need to do. What the list of to-do things will be very thorough if created under a Capricorn moon. And then on Tuesday the 9th, we have the Sun and Uranus conjunct each other. So the sun is like our identity. The sun right now is shining in Taurus. And so anybody born from the end of April kind of to the end of May will have a Taurus signature. But Uranus is conjunct the sun right now in Taurus. And that is not the kind of energy that Taurus likes. It's very destabilizing. It Taurus rules like finance and like structure and the sort of solid, dependable, unchanging things in our world. But Uranus comes in and it's not solid and it's not dependable and it is ever changing. So there's this sort of clash of those energies. But you can also look at it as shaking things up, making Uranus wants to come in and bust up the old so that new ground can be laid. So it's kind of like, it could be like a tower moment where everything's crumbled because the foundations weren't solid, so new things can be built up. It also like affects the financial markets or things to do with like structures that have been entrenched that we thought would never change are now suddenly changing. So it can be destabilizing. It can make all of us feel like a little uncomfortable and anxious maybe, but it's also exciting. So there's like this new exciting vibe in the air. I mean, I guess it's not exciting if you've just watched your fortune crumble. Obviously, that's not exciting. But there is opportunity for fortunes to be built in the same sense. So just sort of realize that the energy is very amped up right now. Be careful, go slow. Taurus likes to go slow. It's a very slow moving energy. Sometimes it can go a whole lifetime without ever changing its behavior. And it often doesn't like influences that come in and change its behavior or want to change its behavior. So with Uranus there could be this tension. Just feel the tension and an electrical energy. Also, you might be getting like downloads of brand new information, new ideas, new concepts that you weren't aware of, new inventions. It's a very genius energy. Like, just kind of open up to receive it. See where your life needs to change. So the week goes on with, I think, quite supportive energy. It's definitely more supportive than it has been, in that there's been a lot of tumult because of the eclipses, and we're in the middle of Mercury retrograde, which is actually ending on Sunday, the 14th. So that's a relief, like that, because it just comes in, and especially with these eclipses that we've had, there's just all sort of manner of, I guess, emotional, because it's the Scorpio energy that we've been dealing with through this eclipse too. We just had the Scorpio eclipse on the 5th. So it could be that you are feeling like a lot of information is coming up, maybe repressed feelings, you're revisiting the past. I've done a lot of lately, like especially revisiting. I've got a Scorpio moon, so it was very personal to me, the Scorpio eclipse, and I found that a lot of connections to my childhood came up, like just realizing as I learn more about how our childhoods, I mean, I know our childhoods affect us, but I think we all do. We all learn to cope and adjust, and because we're resilient when we're children. But there comes a time when, what occurred in our childhoods come home to roost, and you've got to deal with whatever the ramifications of that are. So I've been a lot more aware through this whole process where I had been running on unconscious programs that were created in my childhood that were like detrimental, and where they came. So there's a lot of feeling that goes on and retrospect that goes on with Mercury retrograde. So hopefully you discovered some interesting tidbits about your childhood that help you move forward with ease, at least with consciousness, until you get kind of into the groove of overcoming, which is what we have to do a lot of the time. So once Mercury goes direct, that energy is like, it'll be moving quicker. We'll be able to think more clearly. We'll be able to think more forward instead of backward, which is good. But we do still have the Venus and Cancer energy, so there will be like an energy, like a wanting to recollect, but with maybe more fondness instead of with like feeling the detriment of whatever we experienced as children. It'll be like, oh, remember that? Remember how great this was? You'll have like fond memories for things instead of difficult ones. On Friday, that is a lovely day. It's got I feel like we're going to be able to work hard on Friday. Mercury is in a sextile with Saturn and with Venus, and Venus is trine Saturn. Jupiter is there in a sextile. There's some tricky stuff with Uranus and the moon and the sun just sort of like shaking us out of our our ruts again, stressing us out a little. But this other energy is so smooth that I think it'll help calm you. Your mind will be thinking clearly. You're going to be able to maybe get writing done or things that you need to communicate will have this like stability and structure in them that help you seem, you know, intelligent and well thought out, which is really lovely. And also, like, there could be maybe some poetic ability, some sort of beauty to your words and communication with Mercury and Venus connecting. And then also, again, just this very, like, Venus and Saturn are connecting in a lovely trine that gives us discipline and like an enjoyment of work instead of feeling burdened by work. We're like, yeah, I love digging in. I love getting things done. And perhaps the work you're doing is adding beauty to the world in some way, or bringing joy or peace or ease. If you work for that, if you flip the switch and know that you can grow through joy and not just through pain and struggle, and just repeat that to yourself. I now grow through joy. I am my higher self and I grow through joy. It will help you not associate your growth with turmoil and difficulties, and instead switch it to, I grow through joyful situations, from beauty and harmony and peace and love, rather than difficulty and turmoil and stress. That's something you can use the Venus Trines Saturn energy for. And then we head into the weekend and we've got Mercury going direct. It's a good weekend. I think you'll be able to relax and enjoy yourself and really, you know, feel kind of the ease and things lifting a bit before we move into next week. And I will be back to discuss that with you next week. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoy this new Venus in Cancer energy. And with this last week of Mercury retrograde, make sure that you get all your ducks in a row, because that's a great way to finish off the last week of Mercury in retrograde. Review, reorganize, redo, whatever you need to do to get your ducks in a row so you can turn around and go forward when Mercury goes direct. Thank you so much for listening, and have a most blessed week with all kinds of happiness all around you.